move something from. I don't know. I had to move footage.
Guess what I just did right now?
Farted?
Huh?
I have no idea.
Hit the record button.
Oh. Cool.
Whoops. I think I clicked on it so many times this morning that I thought that I had already done it.
Yeah, probably.
What is going on?
So now we're here. So if you want to see the beginning of this podcast, you're going to want to go on to twitch.tv/FunkShop TV.
There we go.
If you're watching this on YouTube later, because we forgot to hit record for the first 5-10 minutes.
I apologize. We've been live for 15 minutes, but we really haven't talked about anything, so we can start over. Hey, thanks for tuning into FunkShop TV. You're watching right here live on Twitch. Twitch.tv/FunkShop TV. And if you haven't seen any of the episodes yet, go to YouTube.com/FunkShop TV. And while you're there, please subscribe. Also, if you're on your phone, right over there, there's a little heart. Click on it.
Yep.
Check it out. Follow us, and we will follow you. We're not one of those snobs. Like, there's a lot of Twitch snobs out there that they want to have a ton of followers, but they only have like 15 followings. I'm not like that.
I guess if you have like, I get it if you have like hundreds of thousands of followers.
But you can turn off your notifications.
That's true.
Turn on the notifications for the ones that you do care about.
True story.
You know, everybody else, every once in a while, you should just go in and say, hey, what's up? Thanks for watching my stream. When I become a big streamer, I'm not, you notice I didn't say if. Hey, Duane, what up? Duane's laughing at me for restarting, but that's okay. It's what we got to do.
How's the audio sound, Duane?
Does it sound all right out there, buddy?
Since we restarted the stream, don't forget we have Amazon gift cards to give away on YouTube. You gotta like
we didn't restart
videos.
the stream. We just started.
Well, I know record. Just so. Yeah. All right. Well, that just ruined the whole thing.
Music is a tad loud. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. That's the kind of stuff we need to know. Now that things are routed a little differently, in order to have everything balanced, we need to know these things. So I appreciate it.
Yep. Anyway, Amazon gift cards giveaway at YouTube. You gotta like the videos of this week from the 7th through the 13th. Like or dislike, whatever. Make sure you have to subscribe and you have to comment. So I'll pick the coolest, interesting comment, and I will send you an Amazon gift card. Pretty simple. I need to make a video for that, just like a little promo thing that I can throw in the beginning of every, like a little short, sweet thing I can throw in the beginning of every clip when we edit them for YouTube.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't have to hunt for it in the middle of the podcast.
Wait, what do you need?
Just a little promo clip, like of us telling them about the thing, the giveaway. So
Psychedelic Kid, I'm with you, bro. He said, "Hey, fuck the Cowboys. I'm with you." So you want a chat command for the giveaway?
No, that's not what I mean. But that's cool too.
I'll set one up.
Yeah.
I'll just do it. AGC Amazon gift card giveaway. All right.
What?
AGC.
AGC Amazon gift card. Okay, that makes sense.
Amazon gift card.
Okay, got it. I had to process that in my brain.
It's all good. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you being here. Bear with me as we get started. This is like Monday part 2.
Every day is Monday and Friday. It's like you just never get in the flow of things.
How often are you giving away the Amazon gift cards?
Once a week for a while, at least.
And how do they get it?
You got to...
Hey, Josh. Good morning.
Oh, what's up?
Go to FunkShop's YouTube.
Yeah, FunkShop YouTube page. You got to like or thumb up, thumb down, and subscribe and leave a comment on the videos. More comments you leave, or actually say the more interesting comment you leave.
The more clever
the
comment, the better the chances.
Yes, sir. So if it's a funny comment, makes us laugh or something like that, grabs our attention somehow.
And when are you giving away? What day?
I'll announce it Monday, I guess. All right. I'll just contact them on Monday.
Cool.
Also, I need to make a video with just that. I need to make a video of just like saying that, basically.
Right. So in chat, type !AGC, and it should pop up. We got to do. I'm going to print out a list of our commands eventually, so everybody knows them. I'm going to put them on our panels page too.
Boom! Look at that.
How about that?
I like that. I like that. Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Bonus points if you know what that's from. Bonus points for you. In fact, if you know what that's from.
What are you talking about?
What I just said. How about?
How about that?
No, not how about that. Just try it out. Just try it out. If you know what just try it out's from.
I don't have a clue.
Biggz is gonna give you 500 stars.
Yeah, I can do that. That's fair enough.
500 stars if you know what that's from.
Just try it out.
Just try it out.
Is that from a movie?
No. It's an internet video.
Oh, like a viral video.
Yeah, that a podcast has made famous.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say which one because then I'm just giving away the thing. So yeah, first person to tell us that gets those stars, and you can use those stars to get for the raffle for the Funko Pops. So you could with that piece of information give yourself a little bit of an advantage.
Yep.
To a Funko Pop. I'm just saying.
Come on in and win.
Anywho, what stories do we got today?
Well, I was just actually going to dive into that. YMH highlight.
Boom! He's got it right. Look at that.
I have no idea what that means.
Your mom's house.
Oh, your mama's house. Okay.
Yeah, the guy after he says that is like, piss on me, beat me, try it out. Just try it out.
So we need to add 500.
500 FunkShop stars.
All right.
Congratulations, sir.
Adding 500 points. There you go. You know what, Psychedelic Kid? I'm going to add some points while I have it open just because he said, hey, fuck the Cowboys, and I appreciate that, so I'm going to add 200 points to that.
Boom! Points for everybody.
We feel real giving today.
Biggz is like Oprah this morning. Just
you get some points. You get some points.
Yes.
That's fucking rad. So, moving right along, I got to pull up our Facebook conversation. This one is kind of a weird story. It was updated 7 hours ago, posted on January 8th, 2019. And the headlines, this was posted on kptv.com, a Portland area news station. The headline is Child Porn Ringleader Beaten to Death at a Detention Center, authorities say. These are Nate said, run the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shut up. A New York man sentenced to 40 years in prison as the leader of a child pornography ring died after a fight involving several inmates at a federal detention center in Michigan, authorities said Friday. Christian Mayer was involved in an altercation Wednesday at the Milan Detention Center about 50 miles southwest of Detroit, the U.S. Bureau of Prisons said. No details of the fight were released, but the government said Mayer's death was being investigated as a homicide. He was from Binghamton, New York. 3 other inmates had serious injuries, and two staff members had minor injuries. Men are housed at the center while awaiting trial, sentencing on a permanent prison assignment after being sentenced in federal court. It's on the grounds of low-security Milan federal prison. Mayer, 40, was sentenced a month ago in U.S. District Court in Detroit after pleading guilty to a child exploitation enterprise. Prosecutors said he was the mastermind of an egregious crime syndicate that coerced vulnerable girls who engaged in sexual activity on a website.
So that right there, what you just said, he pled guilty.
Right.
That like that's a key point in my thought process. Mostly because of like, if he pled guilty to that, then he did it more than likely.
Right.
So now not that I really felt bad for him based on the headline, but now I definitely don't feel bad for him, and they should probably just flub that investigation because they did the country a service. Just saying.
I'm not going to disagree with that at all. The article continues to say they hunted girls, they lied to girls, they manipulated girls, and they did so repeatedly for years, victimizing more than 100 girls, only a fraction of whom have been positively identified. Assistant U.S. Attorney Kevin Mulcahy said in a court filing when he requested a life sentence for Mayer. Mayer disputed that he was the ringleader, but told the judge in December that he had shattered so many lives. Oh, he admitted that to the judge. I never thought I could sink this low. I apologize to all my victims, Mayer said. That is the end of this article.
That's like a terrible name. Like it's confusing. Like, I mean, you can read it.
Christian Mayer?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, when it's written out, it doesn't look like a mayor that you'd think. You think of the other mayor. Man. Yeah, so, fuck that guy. I'm very against the death penalty, so like, because I just feel like if there's a significant person, I feel like there's so many people have died that have been wrongly convicted on so many different things that I'm not for it. But in this case, when it revolves around children and it revolves around somebody who pled guilty to it, well, even the hardest of criminals are like, fuck that guy.
Right. Nobody wants to be in prison with him. Well, like, yeah, get rid of this piece of shit.
I mean, it's just
can't
like,
blame him.
It's like above egregious. Like, you can like just murder like other men or whatever, and other criminals are not going to be like, okay, whatever. They're not going to look twice at that. Or you can embezzle a bunch of money. You can do all kinds of things, and they're just going to be like, whatever. But you start messing with children, women or children.
Complete. And Duane, are you still here? The upload just now completed.
Ba-boom.
So you started that rendering process yesterday at what? 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:30?
About 3, right before I left.
And as soon as it was done rendering, I started the upload process.
When did you start that?
About 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock this morning?
5.5 hours.
Oh, to
upload to YouTube.
Yeah, that's not that bad considering there's like
Duane said, holy shit.
There's like 10 hours, roughly around, close to probably somewhere between 8 and 10 hours of footage there. I think, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. I mean, they're big files.
Right. Took almost 24 hours for that.
But the render time
process
doesn't surprise me. Like it's not uncommon in the video world, like if you're rendering After Effects projects, those can take I've rendered stuff before that took like 2 days to render.
I need
in
to
After
get another
Effects.
computer.
Or I've also and then 3D world, when you're doing like simulations and 3D modeling and like rendering out assets and pieces and stuff, like that can take sometimes weeks to render a single smoke simulation.
Wow.
So it depends on what your application is and like how detailed it needs to be, and there's a lot of variables that go into it. But that's why companies that do that, or people that do that, they have multiple computers and or servers. Places like Pixar, like big places,
right?
They have giant server rooms that does. So they have like workstations, like computers, and they're all connected
like
to
what
a
the
server.
government used to have for their computer servers in the 80s.
A lot better.
I'm sure. Well, they're obviously a lot better. I mean, size-wise, like.
No, they don't need to be that big anymore. So the thing with government computers, even to this day, like they're kind of a lot of our government infrastructure computer systems are very outdated.
Oh yeah, we were reading about that.
Like, I mean, just anyone who knows anything about computers has spent a significant amount of time. Just go down to your like WIC office or your where you get food stamps and stuff. Just and if you have to, you go in there for an interview or something, like in the back.
Although I don't think you can go in there today.
Why?
Because the government shut down.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just wait till it comes back up.
Doors are closed.
Yeah. I mean, they're not work. I'm good, thank you.
Trying to share.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to like go steal their computers because like you literally have a better chance of just going to a dumpster and finding something better.
You talking about the government computers?
Yeah. Like their computers are so fucking old. So, and pretty much worthless. And that's why it takes it forever to do anything because. Like I remember one time I went in there for food stamps. This is years ago. And I remember they were like typing, like I was interviewing. I'm in one of the back offices, and they're filling out stuff. They'd like click like the send button or like the done with this form button kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then we just had to sit there and wait for like 5 minutes while the computer just sat there. Like it's just a simple.
That's how I feel like I was watching this thing render this morning.
That computer is like literally like Star Trek compared to their computer.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like it's so
and I
crazy.
still felt like I was like, man, what can I do to make this faster?
As we got into the giant debate about it this morning.
Yeah. And the biggest piece that we could do to make it faster is when we upload the entire video, not render it. But I understand your point.
Well, because unfortunately there's
clipping off the beginning and the end. Though,
well, is
that worth
the
10 hours that it takes to rent between rendering and uploading?
There's another thing we could do actually. So unfortunately, though, you've seen what happens if you send it from Twitch. It looks and sound. Well, I don't think those sounds terrible, but it looks terrible.
It compresses pretty hard.
Yeah, it looks really bad.
Yeah.
And so like, it's one of those things like. It's like branding, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, I get it. I completely get it. But how many people are really going to watch the entire episode once it goes to YouTube?
Maybe we can set up this.
I can see people listening to it, like while they're driving, going on a road trip. Pull up YouTube, go to youtube.com/FunkShop TV, pull up one of our podcasts and just listen to us bullshit for 2 hours. You'll be at your destination before you know it.
Right? I'm sure. Maybe we can set up with our computer to do rendering tasks. Like I was talking about this computer set up to do rendering tasks.
Right.
We may get to a point where we have several machines just rendering files.
I think by next fall,
and eventually
we'll have more machines.
Eventually, it'd be nice to be able to set up a server to do where you can. And I don't have quite enough. I'm sure I can figure it out or do some research how to do it. But I've never set one up. I've never rendered.
I was actually talking to Tom about that last night, and he used to set up servers.
Yeah, I don't know how it works
when
for video
getting into
though.
building laptops and stuff. He doesn't know how to do any of that stuff. But when it comes to actual servers and setting them up and routing stuff, he knows how to do all that stuff.
There's lots of Ethernet cables and other crap. Networking and server systems are something I never really dug into. It's one of those things that. It would be helpful to go to like a college class. No, it's kind of you don't want to take the wrong one. You don't want to take like a beginning to it because then they're like teaching you what an Ethernet cable is.
Right.
Like I know what an Ethernet cable is. I remember when I went to college.
Well, speaking of ugly, I had to find some thumbnails of somebody to put on some YouTube uploads today.
Right.
Scrolling through that punk-ass Matt Lowe's pictures on YouTube to figure out which of these pictures we can put on. I just picked pictures of him with Nev and whatever the other dude's name is from Catfish. So people will look at those and be like, oh, I recognize those guys, but who's the fat guy in the middle? That is one ugly motherfucker.
Hey, I want to hang out with Neve. I want to make a video with Neve. Make that happen, Mr. Beast.
Morbido Beast. Well, it is good timing for Morbido Beast to be here because the next article is 7 killed in an attack on bar in Mexico tourist resort.
Good timing. Glad you're here for this one.
Gunmen opened fire in a crowded bar in the Mexican resort city of Playa del Carmen. That's why Matt in the Playa del Carmen, killing 7 people. Authorities and media reports said Monday in the latest violence to rock the country's tourist magnet beaches. 6 people lost their lives at the scene, and a 7th subsequently died while being taken to the hospital. The public security minister for the state of Quintana Roo, Alberto Capella, told TV network Televisa after the Sunday night attack. Local media reports that the bar was about 10 minutes from the center of the main tourist zone and was packed with revelers at the end of the Epiphany holiday weekend. Playa del Carmen and nearly Cancun are the top tourist destinations in Mexico, famous for their turquoise waters and white sand Caribbean beaches. They have been increasingly hit by violence as Mexico's powerful drug cartels fight for control in the area. Capella said the latest incident bore the hallmarks of a drug cartel hit, but authorities have yet to arrest any suspects. Mexico has been swept by way of a violent crime since the government deployed the army to crack down on drug cartels in 2006. Since then, more than 200,000 people have been murdered, including a record 28,711 in 2017. Preliminary figures indicate the homicide record was broken again in 2018.
Crazy.
28,711 in 2017. Killed by drug cartels in Mexico. And people wonder why they want to come to America. Why are people wanting to take their kids and flee to America?
Well, there's really nice people down south that are just too nice to them, and they just need some more violence in the U.S., clearly.
Apparently. Must be. Morbido Beast. Holy shit, you guys are ugly as fuck. Smart. No, that's a good technique. Should have cut me out of it. Next time I'm going to take your face and put it on like Matthew McConaughey's body. It's sad hearing shootings that are a normal thing each day. Shit sucks. Yes. Make cocaine legal again, Josh says. Nobody's importing marijuana anymore. That's for damn sure.
I think they should just decriminalize all. Like that is the easiest, simplest solution. Just decriminalize drugs in general.
I disagree, but
I think, and I don't know if I've talked. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it, but to you before. But if
yeah, we have definitely had this conversation.
Yeah, if you commit a crime on drugs, and there was basically the drug contributed to you committing the crime, or you were on the drug during it, then you should get bonus time in jail, like extra time in jail for that. But you shouldn't be criminalized, especially for things like obviously.
Your mic is clipping.
It's clipping, huh? That's not going to be the issue. It's going to be shouldn't be. It's going to be the gain. You're going to want to turn the gain down, and the gain down, and then the volume up. Make sure you're on my channel. And then go to the gain knob, which is top left corner, I think. Whichever one it says gain. And then what'd you turn it down to?
35. 37.5.
Okay. That should help. If not, then okay, so yeah, it's clipping on the red there. So if you use that as a good meter point.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I should be down the yellow. Yep, mic check. I seem to be better now. Okay, cool. Hopefully I'm not clipping anymore. Sorry about that.
Tapping red a little bit, but oh well.
But yeah, I think things like weed, mushrooms, psilocybin,
stuff that's natural, I can't necessarily argue with. stuff that's chemically
like meth
formulated.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem. Like meth, I'm kind of like, yeah, but I also kind of see like it does. I'm a very strong believer in like I should be able to put what the fuck I want in my own body. It's my body. I don't give a goddamn what the government says. Like, if I want to like inject Drano into my body, then I should be able to, because I'm doing it to myself. Not that I would do that, but that's like it's your own body. You know what I mean? Like,
I do to a certain extent, but we as
at what point do you not have like control over your own thoughts, your own body, your own self?
That's a funny argument, simply because as an American citizen, you have way more control than a lot of people do around the globe.
Oh, for sure, but I agree.
Matt Lowe, we are not going to endorse that. Matt's like, please do it now. Josh said, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, why not do all the drugs? Okay, and I can somewhat understand that. The problem is when you start doing these things and you become a burden medically on society, that's an issue.
Yeah, I mean,
and we can't even trust society to be a part of everyday culture without fucking up sober.
So,
do we really want to drug induce people? Encourage drug inducement?
Countries like Sweden, I believe, have for example, have places where people can go do meth, like in a safe environment.
There are actually cities in the United States that have some places that.
But like they have a program there, and it's been super successful of getting people off that stuff.
Right.
I just think we have a very poor approach about it. Like
I don't disagree.
And that's my problem. Is like if
we're so quick to slam somebody behind bars without any sort of reform, without any sort of
the end goal is not
big pharma sit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many problems with this thing, and if we're just locking people up. Now they're gonna have a hard time finding a job. Now you've made the situation worse.
Matt, that's fucked up.
Made the situation worse, and so now they're more likely to go back and start doing more drugs. You know what I mean? Like they're more likely to spiral out of control that direction than if they were just to, have a program or whatever to get them off of it. It's just a very terrible way that we approach it. Like, it's crazy when I see like these Facebook posts of police officers with like, "Oh, I just made a drug bust and some like weed." And it's like not even that much.
Yeah, that's goofy.
Like I've gotten to the point where that's
cops now.
So
it's hilarious, actually.
Yeah, I watched that and it like I don't even smoke weed. Like I have a couple of times in my life, but it's legal here, by the way. Just FYI. But point is like I'm all for it. Like there's no reason to be throwing people in jail over burning a plant and inhaling the smoke. That's literally what you're doing. Like seriously? It's insane. It's absolutely. It's like a crazy person. That's our government right now. It has been for a long time, and it really just comes down to another way to enslave people. You know? It's a form of slavery.
No, I understand that. I understand that train of thought. I just personally can't condone anybody filling their body with chemicals. I don't care if they want to do it or not, because eventually it's going to lead them on a path to where they're going to have to be institutionalized, either a medical institution or a mental institution. They're going to become a burden on society.
You're talking about more like synthesized hard stuff.
Right. Right.
And I get that to a degree, for sure. I think that's where the gray area should be. Instead, we have this gray area over where like plants and natural substances,
right,
and non-harmful non-harmful chemicals. You know, there's other chemicals that are safe, yet we like. It's just all about making money, really, is what it comes down to. And slowly but surely, obviously, the government's like getting into allowing weed to come through and taxing it to make their money that way. But it's all morbid obese fault, really.
He said, well, Josh said you forgot eating all the Taco Bell. That is horrible for you, too. Although, I can't lie, man. The dollar menu at Taco Bell, to me, is way tastier and way more filling than anything else on their menu.
That's killing you, bro.
Yeah, well.
I mean,
so is the pizza I just ate.
What about the cigarettes? Those are legal. And alcohol. That's alcohol.
You know why cigarettes and alcohol won't be illegal?
Because they make so much money.
Yes. As soon as the federal government figures out a way where they can get a fat paycheck off of weed sales, it'll be legal. As soon as they figure out a way to take away all of the taxes.
Can we do for that for steroids, please? Please and thank you. Oh wait, you can already. It's called I am not feeling man enough, and I need testosterone replacement therapy. It's a funny way. We figured out a way to like legally take essentially.
Marijuana will never be federally legal because they'd have to let out everyone in prison for weed charges. Actually,
they're kind of.
There are a lot of counties that are already starting that. Yeah, a lot of counties in a lot of states.
Too. Yeah,
they are starting that. I don't remember what there were 3 states just since the beginning of this year that if you had a prior weed charge on your record, you can just walk in and get it expunged. You can say, "Hey, I have weed charges. I don't want them there anymore," and they're erasing them.
Isn't Washington starting to do that? I think.
I possibly.
I mean, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that.
But, Colorado and Washington have a shit ton of money they're sitting on from weed.
But my traffic ticket, I can't get expunged.
Yeah, too bad you didn't. It wasn't because you had a pound of weed in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just driving really fast.
Well, you know, when you're running from the cops, it's a different situation.
But I wasn't running. I actually stopped and waited for them. I was just going too fast for slow-ass vehicles at the time.
I think federally someday, federally in our lifetime, marijuana will be legalized. I see it happening.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely see it happening.
There'll probably be one jackass state that's like, yo. Oh, what?
Interesting what?
Watched Joe Rogan podcast yesterday. He had a guest on yesterday. Talking about, I thought as I was listening to it, I'm like, oh, this is something I want to talk about because this is cool.
And then you forgot it.
And I totally forgot what the subject was. It was something that happened.
That happens to me every single day.
Maybe one of the viewers have watched the episode, the one that just came out with.
You know, I just noticed, I realized just this week that you can change your emoji when you drop bits on somebody.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
So I just noticed that Joshua dropped a couple bits in chat, and he used the fattest guy. It looks like he's chewing. Maybe he's eating pizza.
That's Matt Lowe, bro.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe it's me because I see the chin hair looks a lot like mine.
Oh, it's Matt Lowe after he didn't shave.
And he looks like he's eating, but that guy has way too much hair on his head. So it's definitely not me.
It was a podcast with Jonathan Haidt. Oh, he was talking about. Oh, yeah, okay. Now I remember what the general topic of that podcast was. So he's a professor, and he's talking about. He wrote a book about the call out culture in colleges, and the microaggressions. And all that crap. So, in 2014, I believe was the right date.
Fuck you.
There was the big. What school was that? That was what's.
You have a computer in front of you, bro.
I know, but I'm trying to remember what I need to remember what I need to search for. and it's on the tip of my tongue. Or, like, I can almost see the word. But the point is, he was talking about like all the where it started and how like teachers are like how all these schools, and it's majority like the big schools like on the West Coast and a few on the East Coast.
You're talking like Berkeley, Cal State,
Berkeley. Yeah. What's another
UCLA?
What's another big one? I think it's not
OSU, University of Oregon.
It's on the East Coast.
There's a ton.
Not MIT. Gosh, I can't think of it. Anyway, point is, all the schools have been putting in these like anonymous systems for students to basically make complaints against their professors if they say something that offends them.
Huh.
And which, like, obviously, if a teacher is being like, sexually forward towards a student or like racially inappropriate, you know what I mean, as far as like being blatant, obviously. But like if you're talking, if a professor needs to talk about, like, he was using a good example of, he's a law professor and he's talking about like equality in the workplace and stuff like that. And so he's like he has to talk about like differences between a male and a female, like the differences of different races and stuff, and what does that mean? And like he has to tiptoe around all these subjects so much so that like he can't that teachers have a hard time, or professors I should say, have a hard time getting students to think, you know what I mean, to like go outside their comfort zone, and instead we have to like keep everything like ultra safe space, and it's a very like weird world. And like what does this do to these kids? They go out into the real world, and the real world doesn't work like that. Like, you know, like we're not going to cater to make sure you're overly like as an employer. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to spend half of my day wondering what I should call you, or if I can't say something like hello person, what would you like? I mean, it gets ridiculous is my point. This whole thing. And I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this, but
I'm trying to track. To track and multitask at the same time.
It's an interesting place where, like, in colleges, in college campuses, where like it's like instead of punish, like for instance, when there was that big outrage at that school where where they were yelling they cornered the teacher or the president, I think, of the school, and they were yelling at him and like making fun of him and stuff every time he like moved his hand, and they're like, oh, that's a microaggression. And they'd be like, wouldn't let him leave, and they were just
I'm not familiar with that.
Oh man, it's not Berkeley. It's another big school like that. But this happened. I think something like that happened at Berkeley too. But and that's where it started. I believe it was 2014, and then it's kind of like gone out in different. And it's not all the colleges.
Yale.
Yale
Yes. Students berating professor.
Yes, that's kind of like where it really took off.
So the students admit to cornering Brent Weinstein.
Yes,
got it.
And they're just being attacked for stuff, and how like crazy the colleges are in general. They were talking about like how they made a bunch of peer-reviewed studies. Like they made up. There's these 3 professors.
Apparently there was one at Evergreen State College too.
That was another big one.
That was the Brett Weinstein, the biology professor. Which is weird because Evergreen State College is pretty liberal and open-minded.
Well, that's the point. Most of these, the problem comes from it's ultra liberal,
uber liberal.
Yeah, and so it's kind of gone off the deep end, and so there's a Portland State professor that is under like investigation right now from like the ethics board regarding studies that him and a couple other colleagues made. So they were like showing how like these peer-reviewed these like studies and like papers that people, that they study, that they write like a paper and they go, okay, this can be a study that we do,
right,
kind of thing. I feel like I'm missing a few keywords
theory.
in that. Not theory, but so one of them is one of the papers that they did a whole bunch of them. They did like a couple hundred of them and got a lot of them published and like awards and everything, and they're all fake. They're all fake and ridiculous. Like one of them they got an award for, I believe, was even dogs are rapists. And they were like saying how like they studied like thousands of dogs in the dog parks and how like certain ones would just run up and like hump other ones and this is a paper they did,
like a term paper.
Yeah, but for professors, like the study stuff, like I'm missing the right word. There's a word for this, but yeah. So the whole point was to show that the system is ridiculous and like the system that they're using, and it doesn't make any sense. And they basically proved that, and now they're going after him like, well, this is fraud and this and that. And he's like they went on Joe Rogan. There was a whole like show on it between the professors. There was like 2 professors on there a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about it. It was hilarious because they were just showing all these examples of these ridiculous papers that they were turning in as if they were real papers,
right?
And the people that review those things or whatever, they were like giving them feedback and this and that. And some of them got awards for those things, and they're completely bogus, fake, like almost like comedical type of or comical type of material. You're like, that's really a study? Like, yeah.
So they were mock studies.
Yeah. And, yeah. It got a whole bunch of news, and now there's this, they're getting, and there's actually a lot of professors that want to take their side on stuff, but they don't because they don't want to lose their tenure. They don't want to lose.
Well, yeah, they have to try to remain unbiased.
Yeah, so it's not even that. They're proving that they have to be biased to stay within the system.
Okay.
So because they're like, you need to lean this way and need to have these points of view. If you don't, so he's like taking things they took like a study about like Hitler or Nazis or something and changed that to like some other subject. You know what I mean? But used the exact same like numbers and like evidence regarding whatever that study was. It was just kind of weird, and they just basically proved like, okay, you guys are idiots and you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and you're not doing what you're supposed to.
The Brett Weinstein case, Evergreen State College, he was targeted for a forced resignation. He claims that he was threatened by students who were protesting against racism. The article says Weinstein objected to students' demands that white people leave campus on his designated day to comply with a protest, and he wrote that one's right to speak on college campus should not be based on skin color. Weinstein was told by police that it was not safe for him to teach on campus and that the radical students were looking for him, presumably intended to commit bodily harm. College president Dr. George Bridges ordered police not to take action against the activist and is allowing students who were threatening the violence to control the campus. In response, the police have barricaded themselves in the campus police station. Wow. That happened back in May?
Yeah.
Yeah, May of last year.
It's just crazy that like how instead of punishing these kids for like acting crazy and like I understand, well, I don't understand. They're just acting crazy for the most part. There's very little but instead of punishing them or whatever, like in the instance of them cornering teachers, they were like, okay, you have these 8 or 10 demands, we'll give you half of them.
I'm gonna hook you up.
Like we'll give you half of them, so. Yeah, kind of crazy.
So, believe, Nated, if you want raffle tickets, it's RAFFLE, bro. Your fingers got ahead of you. So you're in for 30. Let me double check that. No. That was 3 Fs that time, bro. I'm looking at the giveaway chart because it can tell me, like, I can pull up a screen. And then, you know what? I might as well just show you. So this is my giveaway list. And you can't see it because there's a camera behind it. But it's blank. Come on. Quit being a douche. There you go. Asshole. So this is what the Streamlabs chatbot looks like. And this is where the name should be. If you have tickets, you have to make sure that you type exclamation point RAFFLE and then a space and then how many tickets you want. That's how you get tickets. So I will get 25 tickets right now. And as you can see, here's my name, or the FunkShop TV, in for 25 raffle tickets. Okay. That's how it's done.
I'm assuming you emptied out some of this?
Yeah. Yep. I did. There was $23 in the fund.
3 more in there now.
It'll stay there until the first of the month when it's time to pay the bill again.
Yep.
Fun times. I fucking hate bills.
It's always a bill to pay.
Yes.
I got to pay off. I got to try to work extra this month and pay off the rest of my gear bill that I have left.
There you go, Nated. Now you're in for 30.
Boom.
Boom. He's trying to get that Funko Pop. Trying to get it.
Just a question to everybody. How do we sound? Do we sound better now overall than we have in the past few days? Just trying to see how it's going out stream-wise. Feedback is always good. And my stream is buffering. Any other articles? News articles that we got?
Yes, I do actually have 2. So pick one, Trump or Cuba. I mean, we're going to do both. Pick which one we go next. You're going to like Cuba, bro.
Let's go with
I'm going to tell you right now.
Beijing.
Beijing news? Oh, fuck. All
I
right.
have no idea what's going on in Beijing.
North Korean leaders, Beijing visit underscores China's pivotal role.
That sounds like a boring.
So Kim Jong-un visited Beijing, and China feels like they don't have as much leverage as they used to as a result.
All right.
Yeah?
Cool.
No? Not important?
No.
No? Not interested?
I thought something like cool was going to happen there. I mean, is that all that happened there?
Yeah, that's really all that happened there. So, we're going to go to Trump. Since we've talked about the wall thing on updates, there's a new wall-related update with Donald Trump, and this was January 5th, actually, so it's a few days old, but Trump calls those who don't support his wall, what do you think?
Idiots, stupid.
Criminals.
That was going to be my next guess.
Everyone else wants it very badly, the president tweeted. President Donald
Nobody wants it, dumb fuck.
Well, obviously some people do, because that GoFundMe raised a lot of money.
Oh, man, speaking of this, I saw somebody did a 3D animation, like, full, like...
Word, Native, that's what's up.
Somebody did, like a microfilm.
You need to get, like, 8 computers in your house and just get 8 different Twitch accounts and log them all in at the same time.
Multiple... So they made this... They had this wall, and, like, there's, like, a bunch of Mexicans, and they're, like... Oh, yeah, they're, like... They think they're... And there's, like, this little kiosk thing. It's, like, you're gonna... And it's, like, reading off, or, it's, like... You need to pay... Like, telling the Mexicans to put money in this kiosk thing to pay for the wall or something.
Okay.
Something along those lines. And they're, like, fuck Trump, and, like, this and that. It's hilarious. And it's, like... It looks like a real film. Like It looks like a Dunkirk type movie. Like it's done pretty well.
This was in it. Where did you see this?
I just randomly saw this on my Facebook feed like 2 in the morning last night. And I was gonna share it and then like disappeared on me. I'm like, fuck. But it was hilarious. Then Trump comes busting over the wall in this giant like robot. Like remember the Will Smith movie where he's in the Wild Wild West?
Yeah.
So remember that giant spider robot?
Okay.
So it's like that, but it's a giant Trump robot. He like comes over and like stomps out a bunch of Mexicans, and he's like in this. He's up in the head of the Trump robot. Like you see the back of him, and he's like trying to blow up all the Mexicans. I'm like, and there's all this like debris flying out of there, like missiles and shit. And it's like, you're gonna pay for this. Like,
was it short film?
I mean, that's what it looked like. I don't even know what to search for. I just saw it randomly on my Facebook feed. Or it wasn't even in my feed. It was like I clicked on a video and then scrolling through the videos. It was like a couple videos down. I don't remember. I have no idea how to find it. I wish I would save it because I would have been epic to show. It was pretty sweet. Whoever did it did a damn good job. Because there was like a lot of 3D modeling done in it, and like they put a lot of work and effort into it.
I saw the one that 360 Fly put up, and it had like Trump giving a speech in front of the wall, and then it showed a bunch of people digging holes underneath it.
Yeah, no, this is like this full on like action movie
that
somebody made.
Well, if you ever come across it again,
maybe I'll
I mean, So back to the article. It reads: President Donald Trump insisted again in a tweet Saturday that he has overwhelming support for border security at his southern border wall. He declared that everyone wants it very badly, except for drug dealers, human traffickers, and criminals. So it's actually, to quote his tweet that he put on Twitter, at Real Donald Trump, the Democrats could solve the shutdown problem in a very short period of time. All they have to do is approve real border security, including a wall, something which everyone, other than drug dealers, human traffickers, and criminals, want very badly. This would be so easy to do. And then the article continues and says, in fact, no poll has found that most Americans support the wall or support funding for it. A Quinnipiac poll in December found that 54% of Americans oppose the wall, while a Harvard Capps-Harris survey the same month found that 56% did not support the wall. Only 35% of those surveyed in a Reuters Ipsos poll supported including money for the wall in a federal spending bill. Trump's characterization of the majority of Americans who don't support the wall as criminals got a swift and hard response on Twitter. I'm not going to read them all, but everybody's basically saying I am not a criminal, nor am I a drug dealer, human trafficker, or criminal. So, I guess if you don't...
Oh, I found it. I found
Did you?
it. Yep. Oh god, this is so well
Good.
done for like okay.
Good timing.
Sorry. Sorry to jump in, but I was like, oh
No, it's okay. I already read the article. It boggles my mind that he could have the audacity to call the average everyday American that does not support this wall a criminal. Call me a fucking criminal to my face, Donald Trump, and I'll become one. Because I know it's against the law to strike a president. But I will knock you the fuck out.
So this is the kind of thing I'd like to make. This is the kind of thing that takes probably at least a small team of people to make.
For just
but this is like the level of like videos and productions that I want.
Value beyond.
So
Dr. Gonzalez, please go to surgery. Dr. Gonzalez.
Where's Dr. Gonzalez?
There's like bodies falling out of the sky.
And this low pressure system is going to slide in and bring with it.
pinche gringo mamón! ¡Si tengo mi green card!
Oh, what, you fucking gringo?
U.S. Border Protection. How can I help you?
Pues sí, you can help me. Devuélveme mi trabajo. ¿Qué hiciste? ¿Qué hiciste, cabrón? ¡Me destrozaste el coche, pinche gringo!
Thanks for your collaboration. And remember, don't come back again.
¡Y el gringo nos quiere cobrar el muro! ¡Dile que no, pinche gringo racista! ¡Pues no te pagaremos nada!
Wait a minute, please.
Señor Trump, mire, somos gente honrada y solo queremos pedirle que...
They don't know it yet, but they're gonna pay for them. We will begin working on an invincible,
Missile shoots out of his dick.
powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
Oh man, this
¿Quién
is
le
great.
cambió el estuche?
¿A quién se lo robaste? Aquí estaba, digo, muerto loco, hombre.
Cántale algo, pero en inglés,
Flying
que no
for Coos said,
entiende.
LMAO, what did I just stumble into? Oh my god.
Venga para acá, señor diplomático. Le toca a usted reclamarle. Póngasela. Si no lo hace, ese va a pisotear nuestro pueblo y va a destruir nuestra cultura. Vaya, prontito para allá. ¿Y ahora quién podrá salvarnos?
¡Ey! ¿Qué es eso?
Es un milagro.
¡Es Quetzalcóatl!
¡El Ave María!
¡El Ave María!
Oh, this is crazy.
Wow. Oh.
I bet this was made in Mexico.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Whoa! Yeah, let's judging by you go ahead and read the credits here.
Actually, now that I look at this, I'm thinking like Montana, maybe.
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
That was definitely an amazing video.
Whoever did that, you did a damn good job.
Very, very well done. Well done. Well played.
It's funny. It's interesting. You clearly spent probably a month or more, if you're really good, month or more making that. Maybe more than a couple months. Who knows? But
So in case you missed it, I'm just going to go ahead and give them some credit and throw that YouTube link right there. While you go there, go and watch that video on YouTube and then go to FunkShop TV and subscribe because we need some subscribers on YouTube.
for sure.
Today, Junior.
The thing has almost 10.5 million views.
Yeah, 10,492,848 views. fact,
170,000 likes.
I'm going to share it on my Facebook right now. Film of the year.
I knew you.
Flying for
like
cool.
this.
Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that.
Man, I'm so impressed with that.
Yeah, it was definitely well done. Obviously, they have some tools and shit. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean that all that was
Clearly.
probably done in some 3D modeler. So who knows? I mean, like if I dug into it. But it's some 3D modeler and After Effects probably, and yeah, it was a good job.
Well done. Well played.
Round of applause from me.
So you ready for the Cuba story?
Sure.
You're going to enjoy this, bro.
Is there a giant robot in it?
No, even better.
Wow.
All right.
That's set my standards there.
So this was an article that came out Monday, January 7th, 2019 by Tara John on CNN, and the headline reads, are you ready for this? Put your coffee cup down. Crickets could be behind the Cuba sonic attack mystery, scientists say.
Sonic attack?
Yes. Yes. So the article is...
Was that something that had to do with, like, people going to Cuba, like, having headaches or some shit?
Yeah, because of bizarre noises, and they thought that there was, like, some sort of government conspiracy sonic plates that were put up around...
Speaking of that, I was actually there's actually like a background noise. Sorry to interrupt, but there was a background noise that's heard around the world in certain parts of the world, and like there's a certain number of people that can actually hear it. Scientists aren't 100% sure what it is, but so like it might have to do with like the.
It's Yanny, bro.
Might
Laurel?
have to do with
Yanny.
Electromagnetism.
Okay.
And people have had to like move thousands of miles away to get away because for
Figure
whatever
that sound
reason,
out of their head?
Yeah, because it was driving people to like literally kill themselves and like because it just wouldn't go away, and it would get louder and more aggressive at nighttime.
What?
Yeah, like, and there's been studies like it was up to something like 15 or 20% of people in certain areas could hear this background noise that was happening.
Well, for a long time, you know, the United States and Cuba haven't exactly gotten along. So it was speculated that the United States had spies that were putting in these dishes, these invisible dishes somehow around Cuba, that were sending out sound waves to infiltrate Cubans' ears. So the article reads, when a number of U.S. diplomats and their families in Cuba reported hearing bizarre noises in 2016 and 2017 and experienced a range of symptoms such as dizziness, vertigo, and pain, as well as ringing in the ears, the U.S. Department of State officials feared they might have fallen victim to an acoustic attack by sonic devices. In October 2017, the Associated Press obtained and released the first publicly reported audio sample said to be related to the incidents. U.S. officials have been unable to definitively identify the source or cause of the symptoms, and Cuban officials have denied any attack. But now, after analyzing the recording, scientists say the source of the piercing noise said to be a sonic attack, described by the diplomats as buzzing or grinding metal or piercing squeals, could be an echoing call of a cricket. Specifically, the Indies short-tailed cricket, Anugrailus selenictus, something to that extent. In research released on January 4th, a British and an American scientist said the cricket's chirps matched in nuanced detail the AP recording in duration, pulse repetition rate, power spectrum, pulse rate stability, and oscillations per pulse. The researcher has not been peer-reviewed. The scientists said inconsistencies in the AP released recording might be because it was made indoors, while insects are typically recorded in the field, they wrote. The AP recording also exhibits frequency decay in individual pulses, a distinct acoustic signature of cricket sound production, wrote the scientist Fernando Monty something, I'm not going to even try to pronounce that word, a professor of sensory biology at the University of Lincoln in the UK, and Alexander Stubbs of the University of California, Berkeley. Fernando declined to comment, and CNN has reached out to Stubbs for comment. Although the sound of the AP recording comes from the Caribbean cricket, the scientists did not rule out the possibility that embassy personnel were victims of another form of attack. Nor does it rule out that the diplomat's symptoms were psychosomatic, adding that their health problems were beyond the paper's scope. The State Department spokesperson told CNN that a U.S. government interagency investigation involving medical, scientific, and technical experts across the U.S. government and academia is ongoing to determine the source and cause of these events. The safety and security of U.S. personnel, their families, and U.S. citizens abroad is and has always been the Department of State's top security, the spokesperson said.
I love statements like that. I was like, just not like, let me just pat you on the back. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely acoustical things. I mean, like generally, like we can't hear really low frequencies, but we can feel them. Like there's certain harmonics and frequencies are definitely problematic. Or can be, especially over long, sustained periods of time. It's kind of weird.
A lot of people were also speculating that it was some sort of microwave attack.
Could have been something just naturally happening.
Could have been a bunch of crickets. They just
happened
to
chirp. Any number of things.
Chirp in a real annoying frequency.
Yeah. Could have been electromagnetic interference in some fashion. I mean,
could have been a lot of things.
That's definitely not to outrule it. I was hearing that weird I was hearing weird noise a week ago. Speakers.
See, I found a report, YouTube video. I want to know what these sounds sound like. I'm trying to find something that can give us an idea.
Oh, you're about to broadcast this over the intro nets.
Everybody, caution. We are not liable for anything that happens to your ears right now.
What are sonic attacks? This doesn't sound like a sonic attack to me. This just sounds like looks like a video somebody made to get clicks.
Yep, sure does. And it's working.
All sound waves, if they're low frequency, can penetrate walls. It's nothing special. It's not a special attack.
Word. Well, raid. That was a big waste of time. That was a minute and a half that we're never going to get back.
We are sorry.
We apologize to subjecting you to some stupidity that was posted on YouTube. It happens. It happens.
Yes, sir.
Shawn, you got anything else to talk about? We've been live for 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 48 seconds.
No, I'm pretty good. I mean, I shared the robot video. Talked about sound waves. Talked about the ridiculousness that happens in college campuses. I think that's about it.
DMX gets out of jail next month. DMX!
That's cool.
Rough!
He'll probably park his way to this. Something.
According to TMZ.com, Pablo Escobar's brother is raising $50 million to put towards impeachment of President Donald J. Trump. Pablo Escobar's brother is trying to raise money for an impeach Trump campaign. That's fucking hilarious. You know, I bet if somebody put up an impeach Trump GoFundMe right now, it'd probably raise a whole lot more money than the wall GoFundMe. A whole lot faster.
But like, where does the money go to?
Right. Very good question.
Illegal thing.
Yes. So with that, I think we're done jabbering. Oh, actually, got to stay live for another 30 minutes so we can go raid Bad Bunny 306. Damn it. I mean, I promised him I would.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll just keep looking for some stuff to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. Police are searching for 2 suspects who used a tractor to break into a Wells Fargo ATM in Hillsborough. No shit. And here's a picture. That is fucking awesome. So this was updated 4 hours ago. In Hillsborough, Oregon, the Hillsborough police are searching for 2 suspects who used a tractor to break into an ATM Tuesday morning. At 2:15 a.m., police received a report that someone in a tractor drove through a Wells Fargo ATM located at 7200 Northeast Butler Street. According to police, the tractor was stolen from Robinson Construction about 3 blocks away from the bank. Police told Fox 12 the suspects did get away with an undisclosed amount of cash. According to police, the suspects took off in a U-Haul. Officers caught up with the U-Haul and tried to stop the driver, but the driver would not pull over and a pursuit ensued. Wait a minute. Officers decided it was too dangerous to continue pursuing the driver and ended their pursuit?
I mean, Oregon and Washington are no pursue states. Like under certain, usually it's like a.
But it's a fucking
speed.
U-Haul.
Yeah. So they probably thought in this case that they were willing to like take other people out on the roads. So
use a radio and set up a roadblock.
I mean, I agree, but there are no pursue states. Like if you're
I don't understand that, dude. I don't understand that at all.
I think if you're going over 140 miles an hour, they're not supposed to pursue you.
This says that not long after police received a report of suspicious activity on Northwest Aloclec Drive near Northwest Evergreen Parkway, when officers arrived to the area, they found the U-Haul abandoned. Officers believe the suspects ran off into the woods near that area. The suspects have not been located, and there are no descriptions available at this time. Anyone with information about this incident should call Hillsborough Police at 503-629-0111. So, they stole a tractor from a construction site, drove it 3 blocks, through a Wells Fargo ATM, picked up all the cash, jumped in a U-Haul truck, used the U-Haul truck as their getaway truck. The police stopped chasing them, and they got away with it.
And that's actually pretty genius. Because a U-Haul truck isn't going to have their
Duane Johnson said the Vegas shooter should have had a U-Haul waiting for him. This is just...
Yeah. It makes sense. Pretty good plan. It worked.
It did work. It did work. I didn't know that Washington and Oregon were no chase states, because you hear police chases happen all the time.
Yeah. But like most people aren't willing to go over 140 miles an hour because of the speed is. 130 or something like that, whatever it is. But there are cases where certain officers can go over that speed limit. If they're like specialty trained, I think it's like SWAT and somebody else. But generally speaking, they'll just back off. Like they won't chase. Like if a motorcycle is doing 150, 160 miles an hour, they're not going to chase the motorcycle.
No, I understand that, but a U-Haul truck.
Yeah. They must have felt like
a U-Haul
they were
truck.
willing, the driver, or they were in on it, or the police that were chasing were in on. We just solved the case.
The perps were Caucasian.
That too.
Yes.
So We just solved the case here on FunkShop TV. It's an inside job
So,
with the police.
I'm reviewing a video right now, and it does not show any nudity. I mean, there's it's provocative. Shawn, how do you like your steak cooked?
Oh, I know what you
Yeah, you probably do know.
I know exactly what you guys shut up. I mean, I prefer it medium rare. I mean, it doesn't really bother that video. It doesn't bother me.
It bugs the shit out of me because this is gross.
I mean, I prefer it cooked a little bit, but to each their own, I guess.
For all of you that like your steak rare, Duane said as rare as possible for me. Well, here you go, bruh. Here you go, bruh. It doesn't get any more rare than that.
She's clearly doing it for clicks. She's like trying to be sexy about eating raw steak. And she knew, like, this is actually like, if your goal is to get your face seen by a lot of people, and you're trying to be like, it's like a catch me outside kind of thing, right there.
Duane said, and she died an hour after this.
I doubt it.
Some mad cow worm disease.
Our bodies do a pretty damn good job of dealing with most things.
That's true, but that was disgusting.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Oh, the Utah thing that I thought, and I don't know why it sparked thought, and it just came to me. So Utah just passed a law that allows kids, you can't be held like responsible or legally in trouble for letting your kids play outside unattended.
Look what Matt just said. Okay, wait. One more time.
I said Utah just passed they call it free play law, so it allows your kids to, like, so you know, like back when we were kids, parents would just go outside and play kind of thing.
Okay.
Like unsupervised all the time.
Right.
And there's a reason why they did this in Utah, or why they did it in general, is because science is showing, or studies are showing that keeping these kids from playing and solving problems on their own, like without adult supervision. This is like one of many facets, like, so this is like one of many points that they need to like grow and so like a kid needs certain obstacles to overcome. If you like take away like every obstacle that they ever have to deal with, their brain doesn't develop to when they actually have to deal with like obstacles. So a certain age frame, you know. But anyway, the whole thing allows kids to go out and play on their own, and parents can't be like, most states now, if you sent your kids down the street in a certain age frame, depending on the state, and you can get in trouble and have like child services come take the kid away if your kid's playing at the park down the street without you there in most states.
Right.
But Utah just passed a thing saying no, like parents shouldn't be held liable for the kids just going outside and playing. You know, like,
okay. Well, but Utah is also a Mormon state where they encourage people to have like 15 kids. There's
more states like looking at like, you know, this
right.
type of thing, because it's kind of ridiculous. Like the point, and I really haven't put much thought into it as far as like, because as a kid I just thought it was like sending your kids out to go play, like, because the chances of your kid getting kidnapped or abducted type of situation by a stranger is super small. There's like there's like just a couple hundred cases a year, and so if you compare that to like the damage you're doing to your kid by not obviously there's more abductions a year, but those aren't by strangers. Just by strangers is a separate thing. Like another parent or something kidnapping, that happens a lot more often.
Right.
But as far as strangers go, it's just in the hundreds a year, which is a very small amount. And this is what was on the Joe Rogan podcast. The guy was talking about was the idea. I was trying to
there were more than 14,500 attempted child abductions by strangers in 2017.
Okay, attempted, but not complete. So
there were 464,324 NCIC entries for missing children in 2017.
Well, yeah, that's not by strangers, though.
Right.
But the whole point was like your chances of is super low. It's better for the kid to go out and deal with to grow as a human being and being able to like problem solve and deal with like stresses. Obviously, you don't want to have your kid like dealing with stresses above their current level. You know what I mean? So like you have to age appropriate and basically like if you imagine like a kid leveling up, I guess, or whatever, you want to give them tasks and challenges that are within their level of skill to do so that they grow up, so they don't end up damaged. So if they never get any problems along the way, they're way more likely to get depressed and suicidal and stuff like
right.
And teenage girls are super high
if they don't encounter any real world problem solving.
Yeah, and because so like females,
part of real world problem solving is going out, playing outside and doing things you're not supposed to do and figuring out how to cover it up so your parents don't find out.
Well, yeah, or that, or whatever, like, or dealing with situations with other friends.
Learn how to cover up your tracks, kids.
Yeah, and not going to the parent going, "Will you help me out, mom, dad?" Like, I prove my point. You know what I mean? Like that's just an escape thing. And
sorry.
So
I didn't mean to call you.
It's all good. So like one thing that they found is that cell phones for like once kids get into high school, they're better equipped to deal with cell phones. But before that, this is really messing up the girls more than the guys. Meaning, so girls are more, and I'm just going off of what this professor is talking about. So if you want more detail, please watch that, because I'll probably fuck up things a little bit. But he was saying that the girls are just as aggressive as guys. They just do it in a different way. So they're like socially.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Socially aggressive, meaning like, so guys will be like more physical, push or punch each other or whatever, and it's
girls are mental bullies.
Yeah, so they'll go after other girls or just people in general to take away their social statuses, to ruin their life. Or what they perceive as ruining their life or their friendships and relationship statuses by sharing information, by chatting. But now that cell phones exist, and like these middle school teenagers can do that with their cell phone 24/7 and share posts and like really take it to a whole nother level. They've shown like this giant spike in depression and different types of mental problems with dealing with life in females has spiked enormously since smartphones. It perfectly aligns with the time that smartphones became super accessible to the teenagers.
That does not surprise me for some reason.
Yeah, so it was a real interesting correlation, and part of that of looking at that was like the kids are also being kept inside all the time, not being allowed out without their parents, because everybody is so paranoid about.
Can we not watch this?
Sorry, I'm checking how many subscribers we have right now.
Paranoid about their kids getting taken or whatever, so they're like, you can't go anywhere without my supervision. And it was kind of like up to the 80s and early 90s, we kind of let our kids just go and go out and play, But once that kind of happened, and right around that 80s time frame, there was a lot of like crazy crimes going on. So as a society, we overreacted, and we're like, okay, and because the news was pushing stuff, and like the mid 90s when the internet started, basically information started to spread faster at that point. So we became more aware of the same things that were already happening. Like it was no major difference from years previous to. It was just more aware. So it spiked us up and so everybody overreacted. We're like, oh, we gotta keep our kids safe.
Right.
The reality was if you look at the numbers in the big picture, we literally made things 100 times worse.
Statistically.
Statistically speaking, we made things way worse for our kids because instead of them dealing and solving problems and we kept them insulated more and protect them to the point where they're harming themselves. Like they're eating themselves from the inside out, so to speak. And instead of letting, there's always going to be bad things that happen. Like it's just life. It happens. It is what it is. We can't protect everybody from everything. And the thought process of trying to, and the whole we gotta warn people and protect people from themselves is kind of like, it all kind of ties together really if you think about it. Like all these, we can't let people do things to themselves because it'll harm them, blah blah. Like you're kind of taking nature and natural progression of our own brains away from us to make us way worse off.
Right.
Like it's interesting how all these things tie together, and then how like Big Farm, for example, goes, oh, well, people are being depressed, and we can it's all connected,
right,
in a very symbiotic way.
It's becoming a big puzzle, and there's a big picture that it's painting with a bunch of little pieces being put together.
Yeah.
And it's not pretty. It's not healthy at all. At all.
Yeah, it was super interesting to kind of look at those things and kind of tie all these pieces together.
Yeah, I bet. I was just doing a little bit of surfing, and I found the article on the professor who authorized hoax papers. Says Portland State University has launched disciplinary proceedings against him.
Yeah, they're talking about that.
The hoax made Peter Boghossian and his cohorts the international toast of free thinkers who claim college campuses are paralyzed by political orthodoxy.
Yep. See, that's the big words that I was looking for.
Contrarian Professor Peter Boghossian says Portland State University has initiated disciplinary proceedings against him for authorizing hoax papers, including one that purported to study dog-on-dog sexual assaults in Portland parks.
Yes.
Boghossian, who teaches philosophy of education at PSU, conspired with 2 colleagues to submit more than 24 satirical papers to feminist theory and race studies journals in an effort to prove these disciplines are academically fraudulent. That hoax, revealed in October, made Boghossian and his cohorts the international toast of free thinkers who claim college campuses are paralyzed by political orthodoxy. But it also drew scrutiny of Portland State's administrators, who concluded in December that Boghossian had violated PSU's policies against research misconduct by publishing findings he knew to be false. Boghossian says PSU has launched disciplinary proceedings against him. PSU, like many colleges, is becoming an ideological community, and I've demonstrated that I don't fit the mold, he said in a statement. I truly hope the administration puts its institutional weight behind the pursuit of truth, but I've been giving no indication that that's what they intend to do. He declined further comment to Willamette Week.
Yeah, it was super interesting. It's definitely colleges are not. That was the whole point. They're not seeking truth, not seeking.
Nate, you're already in for 30, and you can only get up to 50, so you can do 20 more. 50 is a max.
Was it? Yeah, so they're just colleges, in my opinion. I mean, I think most people should be about as a parent, your kid going to college. Your hopes is that they're discovering new things, learning about what is known to be true, or and question things and grow. You know what I mean? Not get behind some political ideology that teaching shouldn't be a belief, especially when you're talking about general. Obviously, if you're talking religious things, that's a different thing. If you're studying to be a preacher or whatever,
right?
Obviously, it's a different thing. But if you're studying to be a scientist or studying to be a doctor or engineer or whatever, you shouldn't be studying. You shouldn't be forced as a student to be like, well, if you don't think this way about like how like politically or socially in this direction, then you don't fit in here. It should be about finding true things, like educating and growing, knowledge base. That's what college should be about as far as like the study. Obviously, there's social interactions that are super vital for a student's growth as still a young adult or
right
kind of thing, but not. There shouldn't be a one direction. You shouldn't. All your teachers shouldn't be ultra liberals, or the opposite of that either. Like you shouldn't. There should be a mix. You should have ideas from everything and try to go forward and learn. So that's what's happening in college campuses. This is kind of political thing I can get behind. This I find way more interesting as far as than some fake promise that some politician's going to give me. Like they're just up there for lip service. I don't really care. That kind of shit is just.
There's a lot of truth to that.
But
unfortunately,
way
too much truth to that.
It's real. There's a real element that we're talking about.
Right.
That makes sense for people. What's going on, chat?
Nothing. Nated is getting himself maxed out on his raffle tickets.
Yeah, buddy.
Supreme Court refuses to review Kip Kinkle's sentence.
Ooh, I got another article I just saw.
He was 15 at the time of the shooting at Thurston High School in Springfield, Oregon, but Supreme Court refuses to review it, so they do not want him up for parole. Can't blame him. That dude is nuts.
So, yesterday I saw last night I saw another article about 9/11, and the Supreme Courts are finally, after 18 years, going to take into consideration evidence that the towers were demoed.
Okay.
Because there's so many there's like thousands of engineers that are like this doesn't make any sense. The only way these could come down, I think there's something like 6,000 or 7,000 engineers that signed a petition saying yeah, this was definitely a demo. There's no other way these could have came down in the fashion that they did without pre-planted bombs inside the buildings. And so, among other 60 or 70,000 other random American people writing in signing a petition for it as well. I wish I would have known about that petition. I would have signed it. Just because I'd like to see that. So anyway, they're going to they have evidence that they're bringing to the Supreme Court regarding that to be shown. So for a long time, Supreme Court were we're not accepting that. We're not going to listen to what you have to say. They were just blocking it. But finally, they've agreed to take that evidence into the court, into the Supreme Court. So I found it super interesting.
Wow, that is super interesting. I'm trying to remember my PayPal password right now.
It's 1CatDog34 Blue Group.
I don't believe you. No, you didn't come back to 9/11 talk. I don't think.
No. I was just mentioning only thing I was talking about 9/11 was just how they're bringing new evidence. The Supreme Court is going to accept new evidence in. It's not even new, but the evidence they've had for many years. But they're going to take a look at evidence from people or from whoever. I forget who. Some lawyer and a bunch of engineers showing how there was already pre-planted bombs in the building is what they're basically getting at. we weren't diving into that. That would be like a whole 2-hour thing. No, we were talking about the 19th dimension of interstellar reality. Right? And dancing.
Yeah.
Did you donate $5?
I did.
Yes. That's hilarious. You just donated to give it back to yourself.
Well, it's not going to myself. It's going to the pool. But did you see what the note says? I just wanted to pop the donation cherry.
Oh, nice.
Because, you know, it was really sad to me that the recent donor and the top donation at the bottom have been blank. Since we've been doing this for like 17 years now, and we still have yet to have a donor. So.
If that was a true statement, that would be really fucking sad.
Yes.
I think we got up to like 18 viewers or 19 viewers at one point, I think.
Yeah, we did. We did pretty good today. And didn't have very much to talk about at all.
Ask Cheney. How about you ask Cheney, Matt? You could give him a call and say, hey, Chain.
Here's one that goes along with what happened yesterday, what we covered yesterday about the date. This headline said a student refused to pay for his date's meal after she ordered lobster and a $90 bottle of wine, and she wasn't happy about it. There are certain red flags to look for on a first date that show someone might not be a good fit for you. Demanding you pay over $100 for their meal might be one of them. Reddit user Cute Banana Muffin on Saturday shared a post on the subreddit Choosing Beggars titled, Well, There Goes the Friendship with Her, in which he said his date did just that. The thread consists of text exchange between the Reddit user and his date after the first time they met. He sent her a message asking her if she wanted to go out again and received the message, after what you did last time, you expect me to go out with you again? Wow. He asked what he did wrong, and she responded that she'd had to pay for her own meal. He said he hadn't paid because his date had ordered lobster and an $80 bottle of wine totaling €110, $126, while his meal only cost $17.50. And you were really expecting me to pay that? He said. I'm a student, not your sugar daddy.
Right? If you're like a 30 plus year old dude with a really good job, and like obviously if he's a student, he's at a different point in his life,
right.
It's kind of ridiculous.
So wow, you are so rude, she responded. I'm never going out with you ever again. If you can't pay for a girl's food, then why accept the invite? She added. So she invited him, and then expected him to pay for her.
I mean,
lobster.
I'm old school.
Wine.
I probably would have paid for it. I mean, I know I would have.
Depending.
I don't think I would have. Like, if I went on a date with somebody, especially first date.
What if you're not romantically interested?
Doesn't matter.
This chick's like, you know what? I want to take you to dinner.
I don't think I've ever been on a first date where I didn't pay. Like,
somebody told me that she took you to a fancy dinner and paid for it.
Oh, you took what's it like? That?
Cuckoo.
Yeah, because the only reason was because she like made that clear from the beginning. Like, right. I want to pay. Like that. Right. That's a different situation. If I'm going on a date with somebody, I'm like I assume that I'm gonna pay everything. Like
She's not from America, Josh.
I can't even think of a date where like I asked somebody out ever. I mean, it may have happened, but where maybe I split it. But I think at least 95%, if not 100% of the time where I've asked somebody out and they go on a date, I've paid for everything on that first date at minimum. If
I was to go out on a first date ever again, the first date is not going to be to some place where she's going to get a $90 bottle of wine.
It also depends on where I am financially at that moment in time.
That's true. That's a very good point. So this article says, wow, you're so rude, she responded. I'm never going out with you ever again. If you can't pay for a girl's food, then why accept the invite? She added that the gentleman always pays for girls' food. Then she went on to say he'd wanted only to have sex with her. He replied that of course he did, but he realized that he may not have 20 euros for that. So she responded with, "Gentlemen always pay for the girl's food, but I guess you are gay." His answer was, "Actually, I am a gentleman. That's why I stayed and not left while you were talking about how much you like dick and that you wanted to make out with him." Him. Oh.
The waiter?
Not Dick. It's somebody's name is blanked out. So somebody's privacy is being respected. The Reddit user told Bored Panda that he usually pays the whole bill on a date, but as a student, 110 euros was far too much for his budget as he worked 60 hours a week to pay for food and books. The day was fun at first until she started talking about another guy and how much she liked him, but I thought, let's eat, talk, and leave. But since she's into another guy and it all crumbled when it came to the bill, he said she was shocked that I let her pay. She didn't say anything at the time, but from her facial expression, I realized she was furious. In the comments on Reddit, one user said, "Anyone that expects royalty treatment is not someone you want in your life. Good move." Another said the exchange gives women a bad name. Lobster, another user said, "Would love to have seen her face when the bill arrived and you said, 'Let's pay for our own food.'" She tried a fast one there.
Josh says, "Equality says they can pay too." No shit.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've been like going on several dates, then like
I absolutely
sure.
agree. Women have been screaming for equal rights for a while. Women's movement, you're liberal, they can, you know what? On a first date, it's not a bad idea to make things clear. So how are we doing this? Establish boundaries from the very beginning, from the get-go. Maybe we should start.
Give you $200. You pull your pants down.
Right. Maybe we should start another pod series on proper dating etiquette. What to do and what not to do.
Or it can be a segment that Morbid Beast makes.
Yeah. Oh, Danilo Simic said football, soccer over American football. Fight me. Shut up. Fucking troll. Get out of here.
What does it have to do with anything we're talking about?
Nothing at all.
That's cool.
He's a Twitch troll.
If you like soccer over American football, that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool for you.
Free
first meals for guys for a while, right? Yeah. They do need to catch up, and I get it. That means the women need to start taking their coat off and putting it over a puddle so I don't get my Air Force Ones or my Jordans dirty.
That would be a hilarious video. If you like, they've made videos. I've seen videos like that where they flip everything. But,
yeah. Like I take my wallet out of my pocket and let the woman carry it instead of carrying her purse.
Yeah.
It's only fair. You're right. But maybe we should start a new series on FunkShop TV on dating etiquette.
I feel like you're just saying that.
That is very fucking true because I don't want to start a new anything right now.
You mean you don't want like 7 more things to edit and
fuck no.
And like a server computer tomorrow and like
if maybe when the ball is rolling to the point where we are actually have enough income to where we can just click on a few things and everything's done. Like we have a fast enough computer that we don't have to.
We just have different. You have different computers to do different.
And more people. You're right. And more people doing stuff that knew what they were doing. If I could actually sleep more than 6 hours in a day, I might think about taking on another project. But right now, fuck no.
Sleep schedule's all over the place.
Yes. What sleep schedule? It doesn't exist. The non-existent sleep schedule.
I pay for my shit too. I tend to probably, I've been better about it lately, but I tend to overpay. Like, I don't know. And part of it's like the whole like how I was brought up and like the whole, the gentleman kind of thing, I guess. But the rules aren't the same anymore. It's a different game now.
Yes, 2019. It's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, just over the last 7 years, it's like vastly changed the interaction and like what you are supposed to do, not supposed to do, and
there shouldn't be any gender expectations anymore because gender roles don't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's all so fucking confusing and makes no sense to somebody like our age. Because it's like this weird crossover, so we don't know how to like in the singles group, it's like the behavior is so like all over the damn map. You're like, where do I even like begin to sit in this field of human beings?
Bro, if you're talking about a singles group on social media, that's a completely different
But
ballgame.
that's
fucking
it's different. Yeah,
so bizarre.
Yeah, but that's my point. That's part of the dating game. Now. That's part of like the.
I think it's just
the
such
online thing, and they both kind of go back and like they blend together.
I think that's just a minute piece, though. I think the majority of the people that are in those social media groups aren't necessarily single people looking to date. They're people that are afraid to have face-to-face human interaction.
Well, that too. But where do you?
They have to hide behind their computer to get to know somebody. It's bizarre. It's weird.
And I get that, and like it was, but like back in the AOL days, or like AIM and Yahoo Chat and ICQ, those things. That behavior,
shit, I forgot about ICQ.
ICQ is my favorite. Woo! Especially like.
I totally forgot about ICQ.
ICQ was the best, and actually there was another program that you could combine all the major chat programs into one program and have it all centralized.
Tinder's whack.
And but like back then,
only the cute guys get swiped.
You could search by your like an ICQ. You could search by city. Like,
yeah, I remember
that. You could
that.
literally search for users in your area,
right?
And it would tell you like, oh, they live in Camas, oh, they live in wherever. You know,
could search by area code.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that.
And it was cool because, unfortunately, it does create like potential like.
See, I said swipe. I don't know if you swipe left or swipe right. Josh is an expert on Tinder.
Yeah, I have no idea which.
But he called it tender, so maybe that's the like. Is that a certain fetish dating site?
And because of like the way social media is with like Instagram and Tinder and Plenty of Fish, and it's so one-sided. Like, so
it definitely is.
All the hot chicks get all the dudes to like fucking with them.
Right.
The dudes never get any like unless they're like super super hot, or you think that they're rich as shit.
Right.
So that's, I mean,
they're definitely checking out all of the pictures to see how much he's worth.
Yeah. So
they're gonna try to check his net value.
Game.
Yeah.
So you have to know these rules, and like, if you have the money to play the game, you have to have the resources to play the game, and it's played completely different. It's not about like, how is this person's personality? What are they? Somebody I can click with?
Right.
I mean, after a while, you may dive into that, but for the first few months, you're really it's this weird facade that you're dealing with, that you have to put up, this fake thing, and it leads to all kinds of weirdness. Like you don't know where the internet starts and ends nowadays, and it's only getting worse with things like AR, like virtual reality, because virtual reality, once that becomes, it's already like getting big respectively for what it was.
Right.
But as that progresses, there's going to be more and more people that are just going to want to sit.
Josh said, you mean sex. It leads to sex.
It's going to lead to more people just staying in their room and like completely shutting the outside world out. And they're going to essentially, like, their existence is going to live in this virtual environment. Then you're going to have AR, which I think is going to be a little bit bigger, which is going to mix your real world with the alternate reality. There's a different thing, and all this is going to play out not only socially and like dating wise. Like, how is AR and virtual reality going to play into dating? Like, how is that? What's that going to look like in 10 years?
Oh yeah, what movie was it? Demolition Man, where they had the virtual reality sex.
There's a few of them. There's been quite a few of them movies that have done that now.
I'm talking about the one where Sylvester Stallone, he puts on the mask and she's like, you need to sit over there.
Yeah, there's only Taco Bell, like only restaurants Taco Bell.
Yeah,
in that movie.
yeah.
Is it Demolition Man?
Taco Bell was fine dining. Yeah, that was Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Josh said, just you wait, my prediction for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's not far off. Like, really, like us putting some goggles on and
God, I hope not.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's so close now. And then how's alternate reality gonna work? Like, am I gonna give a give an alternate reality wedding ring to somebody, like, so it's like a virtual ring that sits on your finger, like you see through goggles, and it's like, or you know what?
Too goofy.
It's yeah. It's gonna get weird. It's gonna get weird. And then Elon Musk's other company, that's going to add a whole nother level to the dating thing. Neuralink. Do you know about Neuralink?
No.
So there's another. Elon Musk also owns another company called Neuralink. It is going to be. They're developing systems to directly connect our brain with our computers and the internet.
That's a bad idea, dude.
So that we can directly interface with not only computers, but eventually other human beings mentally. So, in theory, that could lead us to the point of, like, there wouldn't be any, like, if we get to that point.
Right in a minute.
If we get to that point, there's not going to be any, like, you would know what the person's thinking at all times. There would be no bullshit walls up. It will be if that happens. Like, I don't think you could release that. You couldn't realistically. You couldn't say the technology was available tomorrow, right?
Okay.
And it was free. Even though it won't be, but let's pretend it is. You couldn't just release that into the public and have everybody like put one on or install it instantaneously.
Show.
Think of the social chaos that would happen if you just turned it on like that. If there was no lies about anything, everyone could literally see or think what another person was thinking, like hear or see what that person's thinking.
Interpret another person's thoughts
in real time.
Bad idea.
What would that do to social? Like, I think over the course of like 200 or 300 years, maybe less. I mean, probably less because we are accelerating on such an insane level of technology, and we do a decent job of like adapting.
Yeah, exactly, Josh.
Like, so.
Or
I think eventually it'll be good, but I think at start it's going to be insane. But it's a real company that really exists, has real people working there, and like he even talked about it on Joe Rogan.
One of the things that bothers me the most about that is we already see how algorithms work, and we see advertisements all over our email boxes, all over our social media, on our phones popping up based on stuff that we've searched. It already has an idea of things we're interested in.
It's only going to keep going down that path.
It's disgusting, and realistically, it's like Idiocracy. Pretty soon, Gatorade is going to be the only drink that we drink. And Taco Bell is going to be the only place where anybody gets any food.
I'm hoping that we can see those things and avoid some of those things, like some of the obvious things.
I pray.
I hope. It depends on, like, I think it'll greatly depend upon how quickly, at what scale and how quickly you want it to be. Like, I would love to interface with a computer with my brain. I would sign up to do that, I think. Once I thought the technology was at a point where it was safe to do, or at least somewhat safe to do.
Yeah,
there's always going to be a risk.
Just the thought of that scares me, because who's going to be able to see that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
if that's the case, if your computer can read all of your thoughts, who can access your computer? That's frightening.
Personally, I've given up on the idea of privacy for the most part. I mean, there's some level, but I also think about, like, okay.
But human nature gives us, and this is where it comes down to the little cartoons that we all see as kids, with the devil on one shoulder, the angel in the other. Temptation is a real thing. We all have these thoughts that manifest, and it's whether or not we act upon these thoughts. That's whether or not we're giving in to temptation, whatever you want to call it.
That's that's where we are going to have to adapt as humans or hybrid of humans, because I think eventually, like, the human race is going to become something else in not that different of a future, or not that far out.
Not that distant.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to take 1,000 years. I think potentially, depending on technologies over the next decade or two, or a few decades past that, we may end up becoming like a Borg type of thing, like to a degree. I think we won't be quite as. My hope is we won't become quite as machine-like, a sense of like very.
That's when we're all going to get serial numbers, the mark of the beast.
Well, I mean, we already do. We have social security numbers. Can't do shit without those. I mean, it's just a way to track. And there's good things to that kind of like thing. Like you want to have some accountability from people. There's good and bad from both of those. So you have to kind of weigh the two options, like with anything. So it's interesting. Like the technology advances could lead us down a lot of different paths with AI, with all kinds of things, and I think we will become almost part machine in some fashion. I don't know how much free will we have is really like one of the things that'll kind of scare me down the road. Like obviously, I don't think it'll affect us. We'll be long gone before it becomes a real problem. Like in that sense, I mean. Unless some sort of singularity happens before.
I don't know, man. I think the world's going to destroy itself before humanity becomes that advanced.
I don't know. I guess that would be another, depending on one's point of view and beliefs, that would be almost a destruction in itself.
Right.
So it could be super interesting. That kind of thing could lead us to be able to live long enough to travel to other stuff. Like those kind of technologies and interfacing systems where if we could interface with our own brain and computers, what's to, at that point, with other advanced computing technologies, to stop our aging process? Because, like, if we can stop the destruction of our degradation of our cells when they separate and split and do their thing, that's going to give us the opportunity to essentially live for much longer, or if not forever. There's probably an upper limit, but we could foreseeably live thousands of years. You know, if we can get a few of those technologies.
I think we need to get our climate issues under control first.
I think those things will lead to it, like because the computing power.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
So another upside of that is I think most people in the world are a reasonable person. They kind of sit in the middle of most things, right? You would probably say like. As far as beliefs and generally, I mean, there's always the extremes. But if, say, you had,
that's for tomorrow.
If all of humanity was connected to one server and they're one connected to the internet, essentially, we would be able to see all kinds of things, and I think we would our brains and our knowledge base as a general person, as for everybody, would increase because we would have access to information at such a much higher pace, you know what I mean, potentially,
right?
That we may be able to that might be one of the things that could solve some of the major things like climate change, major problems that we have in society by interfacing with computers, because with that and like advanced computing technologies that we literally it could lead to some great things. Anyway, getting off into philosophical crazy land right now.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. That's it.
Seems like a trust beyond trust to let them into your mind physically. Yeah. I mean, but I think it's probably an eventuality. They'll probably push back when technology becomes available, of course. But I think with anything, there's always been pushback. Like cell phones came out, and there was pushback on that, and then smartphones came out. Just one technology, like they just ease it in. You just ease it in, and then people become more and more okay with it.
Ease it in. That sounds like something that Matt Lowe would say.
Right.
With a lot of lube.
I mean, we all have Facebook accounts. We all agreed to have all that information. Like we willingly put our lives out there for everyone anyway. I mean, it's really not. There's some level of separation, of course, but it just follow the progress. the progression that we've already followed over the last 30 years.
That's also for tomorrow.
Like sex?
No. Tomorrow on the morning show, The Daily Funk, we're going to talk about a dad that invented an app that locks your kids' phones until they reply to your text.
That's cool.
And puppy eating turtles. Tomorrow on the Live Funk, The Daily Funk, the Live Funk. Funk my life. So, Shawn.
Funkin' trunkin'.
Okay, we're over 2 hours. This is going to take forever to fucking edit and render and upload again. And I need to do some stuff on the computer today. So, we're going to close.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We are going to raid in a moment. But before we raid, I have to close the giveaway. Pick a winner. Drum roll.
I think there's only one person that entered.
No, we have FunkShop TV, FunkShop Biggz, Nated, Axe, and the D Johnson, all with tickets. Yeah, we're getting ready to raid now, Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Josh, thanks for hanging out. Hey, to everybody, stick around for a minute. Join us in the raid. Don't go anywhere.
Is Bad Bunny a girl?
Yeah, I hope so. That's Nated's girlfriend. She's trying to get her affiliate badge. So.
Oh, okay. I was gonna flirt with her. Good thing you said that.
Yeah, that's
so. Thank you.
That's the homie
My
Nated's
bad.
girlfriend.
Sorry.
That's why we're raiding.
Boone F.
This is the worst hentai. Oh my god. Who is that? Who the fuck is that? It's got to be somebody that knows you.
It's probably.
You're the only one that I know that talks about tentacle porn.
That's out of comedy. We quick that fucking.
Follow, girl.
It's probably Matt.
Okay. Well, shout out to the Big D. You won today's Funko giveaway, and now we are rating. Thanks for tuning into FunkShop TV. Make sure you follow us at youtube.com/FunkShop TV. Subscribe and go comment on some of the videos creatively. Be funny. Be real, be sarcastic, just give them some thumbs up, some thumbs down. Be ingenious with your comments. And
well, if that's the
Shawn's
case,
gonna pick somebody.
I will flirt away.
I mean, he is a Cowboys fan, so you can take his girl, bro. That's all right.
Who's a Cowboys fan?
Nated.
Oh.
Boone said, I just saw the thumbnail and thought it would be good hentai, but it sucked. I barely came.
Definitely, man.
So here we go with the raid. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow about 10 a.m.
Hopefully.
Provided we don't have any other issues to deal with.
There's always an issue.
Hopefully. So before we go, you have to read the disclosure, and we are going to raid. Thanks for tuning in. I love you. Bye.